I like to take walks. I walk my dog at the end of the day, and that really helps me to release and kind of let go of whatever happened in the day that I don't need to hang on to anymore. And I also like dancing. And so here at our house, we do like dance sessions. We just put music and we're just rocking it out. And it just helps to let go and come to ourselves and have fun, because fun really helps a lot. So those are two of the things that I do.
Taking care of my own mental health is important to me because I want to be my best possible self for my family and for the work I do. I practice self-care daily by listening to music, paying attention to its details, perhaps the lyrics, the melody, the beat. This tends to ground me in the present moment, and it lifts my spirits when I've had possibly a difficult day.
And one of the ways that I love to do self-care is be at the beach. It's fun, it's also really peaceful, and I love hearing the sounds of the waves.
Doing some self-care on this Saturday morning, getting some fresh air, getting outside and moving my body, being able to be outside and enjoy the fresh air and move my body, which for me is the biggest self-care.
And I love to practice self-care by being active. So I enjoy going to the park and doing a boxing class. I enjoy dancing. I like training at the gym. So anything where I can sweat or be outside, that's my favorite type of self-care.
So the way that I have been practicing self-care these days is really allowing myself the time and space to just be alone, generally in nature. Where I can see the grass, I can hear the water, I can see the sun. But these days it's been the backyard where I live. Yeah, these times generally I'm just able to process what I may be going through at the time. It's a very special time for me because generally that's when I just spend some time with God and letting Him just work in me and through all the hardships and emotional turmoil that I may be going through at the time.
And one of my favorite self-care activities is deep diaphragmatic breathing or deep belly breathing. What I do is I will inhale slowly through my nose for 3 seconds. Then I gently hold my breath for an additional 3 seconds. And finally, I will exhale slowly by blowing the breath out of my mouth for 4 seconds. I feel more grounded, more centered, and more relaxed.
My self-care routine is simple. Even if it takes me 5 minutes a day, I'll spend it with my dog. And while he's sleeping or keeping my attention, I'm also able to imagine things, think through things, spend time with the Lord, and also be able to clear my mind.
Self-care is important to me because I have a lot of people who depend on me, and I can't do what I need to do if I'm not taking care of myself first. One of my favorite ways to take care of myself is to take a walk by the beach and have a great talk with a friend.
I practice self-care by taking a short walk in the mornings 3 or 4 times a week. It just gets me energized and I have a chance to pray, to just listen to the birds and just, sometimes even say hi to my neighbors and just have a great start to the day.
How do I practice self-care? Well, for me, I go to the gym. The aerobic exercise helps me a lot to manage my own stressors.
Creo que es muy común escuchar a la gente hablar sobre cómo cuidar su salud física a través de la sana alimentación, del ejercicio. No sé si es tan común que hablemos de cómo cuidar nuestra salud mental. Y creo que es importante compartir algunas de las ideas de cómo nos cuidamos. Por ejemplo, en mi caso me gusta mucho poder mantener un grupo de gente en la que yo confíe para poder abrir mi corazón, hablar sobre mis cargas, mis preocupaciones. También saber cuándo recibir ayuda profesional. Hay momentos de la vida que necesitamos acudir a alguien que tenga un poco más de experiencia y herramientas para ayudarnos. Otra de las cosas que me gusta hacer es tocar el piano y cantar. Me gusta mucho también reírme a carcajadas cuando lo necesito, poner música y bailar en la cocina. Y también me gusta mucho escuchar a mi cuerpo y saber qué es lo que necesito, ser consciente y tener el oído atento a qué es lo que necesito en ese momento.
physical self-care for me is going for a walk, going out on the bike, just enjoying, taking in the nature that God has surrounded us with. For social, I like to relate with my husband, my family, my friends by going out, by talking on the phone, not just texting. Emotional, I journal. I'm in touch with my feelings. Mental, I take a challenging workshop. I read a challenging book. And lastly, spiritual, which is the most important for me. I connect daily with God and by prayer and by reading His Word.
I practice self-care on a regular basis by doing a number of things. I enjoy walking and hiking in nature. I enjoy the beach and swimming in the ocean. It's very relaxing. I enjoy reading. I like to ride my bike, and I like to read light-hearted things, as a self-care. I like to read about jokes in different magazines, which is kind of fun. I like to read memoirs. I enjoy a good movie. And I enjoy connecting with friends that I have met from many times in different places throughout my life. And it's like a mini vacation when I can reconnect with them. And I also love to spend time with my grandchildren and hug them. It makes us both smile and enjoy just wonderful memories together.
Taking care of my mental health is important because it means practicing what I preach. It allows me to be present for my loved ones, and it puts me in a position where I can provide quality care for my clients. I practice self-care on a regular basis by painting. If you look back here, you can see my little dog Cams, and that was at the park. They're all in progress, but that's how I practice self-care.
One way that I take care of my mental health is through my road bike. I come here, I ride about 20 miles. If I sit here and I just need to be still, then I do that. Or I just, whatever I feel inside, I kind of get it out through sport, through external, through sport. And, there's a lot of components to mental health, emotional, spiritual, physical. And so this is one of them that I like to implement regularly.
On days that I have a little bit more energy and I'm feeling especially creative, I love engaging in the arts. Anything that is colorful, anything that I can use my hands with, I especially enjoy. I really like the sensory feeling of it, of getting my hands messy with things like pastels, either oil or chalk, and of course with paints. I really like painting as well. Even though you're supposed to use a paintbrush, I tend to do a lot of finger painting. So I love the whole sensory experience, and I really love how at the end I've created something. It's something that I can hold on to myself or I can give away, but I've created something. I've poured my feelings into it. Usually I go ahead and put in some headphones, put on my favorite playlist, and just zone out into that, spend some hours, and then have something in the end. So
gardening is one of my self-cares. I love to dig in the dirt. I like to pull weeds, especially if I'm angry. And I like to have a yard that has edible plants in it. So herbs and vegetables and fruit trees and even hibiscus. I grow hibiscus for tea. And anyway, gardening is one of my self-cares.
One of the ways I like to take care of myself is through expressing myself through art. I like paints, acrylics, pouring things, papers, clay, and sometimes I just use it to just express myself. This one is pour, just expressing myself, pouring my heart out to God. It was really very fun to do. I like this, reflects the beach, which I love, one of my other self-care places. This painting has its own story, which I'll save for some other time. But suffice it to say, I like to take care of myself through the arts.
So the way that I do self-care is I actually like to go to the park with my mother. Here she is. And we get Starbucks. And this is a sugar-free vanilla latte. And we just park in the parking lot in our car and just sit here and enjoy the nature. We're in a spot where you can see the sky, you can see trees, there are birds, and it just really brings the verse, when I behold the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. And so that actually, just seeing the vastness of the sky, it really does kind of make any problems I have less. And when I see like just the beautiful green trees and hear the peace and the wind and that kind of thing, it just lifts my spirits and it just makes everything okay. So I'm gonna do a little panoramic so you can kind of see. Yeah, that's the highway, but over here you have what we get to look at, and it's awesome. And that is my self-care. Bye.
One thing that I do for self-care is reading. I love to read, especially books explaining our emotions and behaviors and why. And it helped me to have a lot of insights and understanding myself better, and I enjoy those time of reading.
I practice self-care on a regular basis by spending time outside and engaging in movement to release stress. So one of my favorite ways is to roller skate around my neighborhood or just somewhere where I can see some greenery while listening to some music or a really nice podcast. And this is just very grounding and very helpful for mindfulness.
Mental health is important to me because it helps me to stay present to my family, my friends, and the people I care about. And one of the ways that I practice self-care is by taking walks, especially in the morning when it's nice and quiet and I enjoy nature.
Self-care is about all the little things we do on a daily or weekly basis. So for me, I run, or I take a walk in the evening with my husband to decompress the day. I play video games. My husband and I have played with the same group of friends for 15 or more years, and many of them are real-life friends. I spend time with God every day. My prayer journal and my devotions help keep me centered. I love handicrafts. They keep my mind focused on something else, and I know I'm creating things that make people happy. And the last thing is I spend time reading with my girls.
Every night and every day.
I read every day with them, and we just enjoy some good cuddle time and just learning about good books.
This is how I self-care, by stepping outside, just even if it's for 1 minute a day in between lunch break, to feel the sun on my skin, to see the greenery that's growing in my backyard, to hear the birds that are chirping. Just getting outside at some point during my day helps me just to, take a pause.
Now, occasionally, I will want to try something new, step out of my comfort zone, grab a friend, and have a totally new experience. So on those days, I'll find something new to do, no matter what it is, like skydiving.